recently released his new book, Damn Good at E-commerce, or En jävel på e-handel in Swedish. I was also, when I read up on you, very curious about the involvement in Servera's growth journey, but I'm not asking the questions, so I'm just leaving it to you. Welcome.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jacob Sjönander. I am the commercial director and co-founder of Triggerbee. Triggerbee is a personalization tool for on-site behavior, and we're trying to send the right message to the right person at the right time. And with me today, I have Nic, and it came out that we are clients. You're clients of us, but you are not yet because you changed your company. So you started a new company.
Yeah. So
how do we tick?
There it is on the table.
Sorry, Nic.
So not customer yet, we said.
No.
No.
So soon, we hope.
Yeah.
So we met the first time when we gave out the personalization index. That's an index where we look at 90 criteria and how good 250 of Swedish e-commerce companies are on personalization. And happily, Servera came on second place. And this is the motivation why they came on second place. And you also told me when we met the first time that you read the appendix.
Yeah, sure. I read the appendix the first session when it was, and I think we were on the 50th place or something like that. And there were a lot of good tips. We didn't really follow every single tip. Was not like we were aiming to win, but there are good tips in how you get relevant for your customers, and those what you read there, you can actually make money off, to be honest. So that was our aim, of course. Yeah. And then we apparently got on the second place, which we're very happy about.
Yeah. And based on that, we also asked Nic to do a presentation and tell us about why they're thinking so much about personalization and why they're so good at personalization. But unfortunately, it was COVID and so on, so it was just a webinar. But people came up to me afterwards, and still do today, and asked for this presentation, because you gave away all your tips and tricks. And when I asked you why you do that, you said, I mean, what I can do today, everyone can do tomorrow, so I have to be in front. I have to own the playing field, right?
Yeah, not very humble, but I think that was what I said. Yeah.
So, looking at your background, Nic, you've been doing quite a lot. And you started at ICA, and then you went to Apotek Hjärta. And after that, you went to Servera. And you were there for 2 years before you got headhunted and became now the Chief Operating Officer at Nordiska.
Yeah.
And all of these companies have, what I can see, a different kind of way of interacting with their clients.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be hard to use all your tips and tricks going from this new to luxury brand like Nordiska Galleriet.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, the journey, because at ICA you buy 40 times a year, and the average order value is about 1,300 crowns, and the logistics is everything to make it profitable. At Apotek Hjärta, you buy 8 to 10 times a year, and if you are unfortunately sick, then you buy probably 20 times a year. So you have an interaction point that is actually a sale point. So a lot of interaction should be quite easy to be relevant. And at Servera, we had 2 to 5 purchases a year. And then suddenly it's getting, but the average order value is much higher. So what is interesting is the average value per user in all those companies is more or less the same. And when I looked into Nordiska Galleriet, where we can have tickets over 100,000 crowns for just one sofa or so on, and I realized the average per user is actually more or less the same in all other companies. That was interesting to me, but also how you can use the data. We cannot just create personalization depending on each purchase. Yeah. That's more or less the biggest difference between the different paths. Yeah. So from low order value to high order value, very often purchased, very seldom purchased. But yeah, so it's an interesting journey for myself at least.
Okay, so moving forward, my past has been started working for an ESP for 15 years ago, and my ambition then was giving the right message to the right person at the right time. And now, 15 years later, we still get so much spam or unrelevant communication in our inbox.
Yeah.
How's that?
First of all, because it works. It's when you have about 30% opening rate, you are happy as an e-commercer or marketer. The other thing is that we lack of data, as we said. I mean, if we have, in the case of ICA, you have 40 purchases a year and 50 items per purchase. You have so much data that you can depend your communication on, and they are good at it. But many of our customer does not have that, or at least, and that's So it's a lot of lack of data because it works, because of the wrong KPIs. That's why we are spamming. Yeah.
And now you work with this luxury brand, and you have several. You have stores, physical stores, and you have the e-commerce. Are they competitive, or are they working together?
No, not at all. No, it's. First of all, the business model is that it's just one company. That helps a lot, of course. But as you see here in the picture, this is all the brands that we have. So we have Nordiska Galleriet, and we have Lenna, Olsson & Gertell in Malmö. We have Yellow, who are our B2B company, and then we have Dusty Deco, our direct-to-consumer company. And Exponova is a Norwegian company, so a lot of different concepts of brands. And then we have Public Service, which is our real gallery, art gallery. So we are all about design. What is design? From the office space to the art to everything that you see. That's what Nordiska Galleriet is all about. And with that said, this is the first time I always worked in chains, and retail chains. And this is the first time where you have lower conversion in the store than you have on your homepage. So if you visit Nordiska Galleriet on a Saturday, we have about 1,500 visitors, and there will probably be 10 purchases or something. But with that said, if I could make one of my customer at the homepage watch a YouTube movie for 15 minutes, there would be such a big micro conversion for me that I could bring data on. They are really connected to my brand and so on. But here we have it like on daily basis. Every day they are standing in our store for 15 minutes, walking around, getting really impressed and so on. So they are really well connected. And we try to attribute the data between the different areas, but it's not too easy, to be honest.
Yeah. And you were recently guest at Detaljhandelspodden. It's a Swedish pod about e-commerce and retail. And there you said something I think was really interesting. That you need physical stores to be a window for the audience and get drive the traffic to the website. And
exactly.
It's worth a lot of money, you said.
It is. It's exactly that. It's what I said before. When I started to be working with e-commerce for 12, 15 years, there was always the marketing department that was had the mandate to run the e-commerce, and they are really good at selling, creating feelings, target you in a different way, but they're not, to be honest, not very good at selling. So the e-commerce, the first e-commerce that I saw was a lot about campaigns, how to drive people to the store. Yeah. But now it's been totally different. You need to be in the physical world because the cost of being on Google or being on Facebook has increased so much. So to be top of mind, why not be in the physical place as well? And also the cost of having a really good place on the street is not that high anymore. No. And so it doesn't really have to add up the store in itself.
So that moves on. You started talking about that. More or less every meeting we have today, the client are talking about the high cost for Google. Yeah. And it's giving less and less effect.
Yeah, right.
And is this something that you, as a new, are you going to cut your budget on Google? And open more stores?
Yeah, maybe. The stores, we can see an immediate effect when we have stores, and also with Dusty Deco, we had a store. We took away the store and we moved it to Palma, and we saw an immediate effect in share of search in the area of Stockholm for that brand. So the store is affecting your e-commerce for sure.
Yeah.
And we probably would, I mean, it makes total sense, at least for us, that we can have a really high cost of selling an item because the item is so expensive in itself.
Yeah.
So just spending 2 minutes or 10 minutes up to an hour with one customer is totally worth it. So our business model works, at least.
Okay, so last, I mean, you're always talking that you love discounts. So this is so far, I don't know if you see the price, but it's about 300,000 crowns or 30,000 euros.
Yeah.
How can you sell that using a discount?
Of course, this is really hard to sell a sofa that costs 300,000 crowns, both in both channels to start with. But what you see, we try to be personalized. We always have the chat on, like until 10 in the evenings, even on weekends. We pushing people to go into the store. We always have the phone number very visible. But what we actually can do is, if we see a purchasing intent, and it's probably what you are working with. We discussed it before in the green room. What can we actually do? If you see a purchase intent and someone visited this page 10 times, and suddenly we decide to have this specific sofa in our showroom, then we can send out an email. Now the sofa is in the showroom. I mean, you may be very away from buying exactly this sofa, but still this makes so much relevance, and you would probably go down to the store and at least look at it. Is it that crazy as it looks? I don't know.
Yeah. It was quite funny. We were discussing this, and then you just got a SMS and saying you just sold online for 115,000 crowns at the same time to one client.
That's right.
So it's, I mean,
it's happening. It's happening all the time. Yeah.
But no discount code. That's right.
There was no discount customer. So. And also, I mean, when we talk about discounts, and for Nordiska Galleriet, we put in a lot of effort in branding, and this is this rule, 60-40 rule, that you should put 60% of your of your commerce into of your marketing into branding activities, and 40% into performance marketing. I think all of us doing the opposite, or 80-20 is what I'm used to. But it is at Nordiska Galleriet we're actually doing 60-40, and I think that's also drives that we not need to sell on discount. And also, and I mean, this sofa, if it's a very rare product, in 10 years it could be worth the double.
Yeah.
So why use discounts? So that's also a total different market in that and then.
So, okay, we're running out of time, more or less. So before we leave, we just want to give you a tip that I just read 2 chapters of this book, and it's really exciting. Nic is giving away everything. So it's coming on the 29th of August, and you've written it together with your colleague, Arash Gillian.
Yeah,
and
old friend.
Yeah, and almost finished.
Yeah, almost finished. So I was supposed to be out next week. But then I realized I haven't written enough about attribution, so
that you love, right?
that I love. So this will be a chapter about that as well. So the hardest part, to be honest.
So, and before we leave you, I just want to do some commercial for this Pindex. I know that this the winner for this year we already know, and this is the 3rd time we were doing it. The 2nd time for Norway it will be also. And if you want to own index of your website, you can just go into our website and sign up. Yeah, it's really good. You got it.
Yeah, I read it, and also I actually used it when I wrote the book to just see what is. Yeah, so there's a lot of good information in that as well. And you're also giving everything away.
Yeah, we'll try.
That's good.
So be personal and have a great event. Thank you, Nic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There are flowers for you.
Nice.
Oh, lovely.
There are so many more questions I want to ask, but thank you very much. I'm also thinking about all the challenges of being a multi-brand store today and building your own brands versus selling others.
There are a lot of struggles and
Should we talk more about that later?
We can do it.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you very much, and good luck with the book.